Hello. Hello, my name is Arjun and I'm a co-founder here at Anvil. Anvil is a web service that allows web-based companies to rapidly build their products by listening to their customers. Startups fail every day because they aren't able to iterate quickly enough to reach product market fit. There are two components that go into building a successful software company and ensuring that this happens. You need to listen to your customers, and you need to ensure that you are iterating your product and changing it based around what your customers actually want. Let me show you how powerful these two components truly are. Bourbon is an app that was developed by two founders. They raised $500,000 and spent months in isolation developing this product. They created a technological masterpiece and added several robust features. But they weren't talking to their customers. When they did talk to their customers, they found out that everyone really only cared about the photo sharing functionality. So what did Bourbon do? They went back and they pivoted. They stripped out all the features that they worked so hard to build and were left with a simple photo sharing app, Instagram, which they sold later for $1 billion. Listening to your customers and iterating your product is really important and it's really powerful. But it's not just for small startups. Even established software companies need to make sure they're doing this so they continue to grow. Companies understand this though. That's why they have so many different channels for trying to communicate with their beloved customers. But just trying to listen isn't enough. You need to be able to learn from this feedback to know exactly what you should change and develop more of your app. The only way to do this is by saving and documenting this feedback. But documenting feedback can get really messy really quickly. This is a document that I got from a Techstars company, and this is how they document their feedback. This is insane. I have no idea how on earth they're able to see any connection between what customers are saying. I have no idea how they're able to see what to prioritize, and I have no idea how they're able to make sense of this in an instant. On top of that, how on earth is their entire team supposed to collaborate around this document? It's insane, it's painful, it's happening, and this is the problem that Anvil solved. With Anvil, companies simply enter their information to sign up. They receive a button that they can embed onto their site. When customers click this button, they're taken to the company's very own Anvil feedback page. This page has all the features you would expect out of a customer support tool. Their customers can quickly and easily submit their own feedback. As soon as they click submit, this feedback is sent directly to the company. And of course, there's also a voting mechanism. Customers vote on the ideas that they like best, so the idea with more votes automatically bundle to the top of the list. This way, companies know exactly which ideas they should prioritize. But there are similar solutions already in the market. This isn't where we work our magic. Let me show you why we are so awesome. So, a huge problem right now is that in order to start, you need to get feedback, but in order to start getting feedback, you have to step through a lot of hurdles. We're eliminating those hurdles with our live prototype access tool. With our tool, developers can create a bare minimum version of the feature that they want to develop for the company. Then they can just click create prototype on Anvil and it's hosted on the site. Then the company's customers can click view prototype and be transferred to a different URL where they can see this first draft of what the developers have created. Of course, this is a first draft, so they're going to have some feedback for what they want to improve. Developers can take this feedback and make more iterations. They write new code, and the customers instantly see how this code changes the new feature. In this way, developers gather this feedback and can rapidly iterate their product. This is going to completely change the way software companies build their product. Right now, you have to go through an entire product cycle just to get feedback. This means you have to make this bare minimum feature, but then you have to make sure you develop it better to fit all the styling of the company. You need to make sure it's not bug-bitten, and you can't launch it to all your customer base, or you're going to face a lot of severe issues. Instead of going through all this, our live prototyping tool lets you jump simply from prototype to getting feedback. This is going to allow software companies to build at a pace that's never before been seen. So our competitors tend to focus on either product development or customer feedback. But we understand that both of these two are essential and they need to be integrated. This puts Anvil in a pretty unique market space. We're able to target both the app development and customer relationship management markets. $7.5 billion and $20 billion. Both of these markets are highly valuable and they're growing every year. Our revenue stream works on a simple monthly subscription model. Our prices are competitive, not too high, not too low, to ensure that we're getting an optimal amount of revenue. Our entire marketing strategy is to create a market-pull environment. The way we're doing this is by starting with smaller scale startups. These software companies are going to be the future in the software industry, so it's essential that they use Anvil. This has been going pretty well already. Of all the companies I've talked to at 1871, many of them have already expressed a lot of interest in testing out Anvil this summer. After small startups, we want to move on to more established software company and small to medium-sized businesses. Even these guys need to make sure that they're growing and adapting their product to fit what their customers want. But we're not going to stop there. We want to take on the world. We believe that every software company needs to be using Anvil. Every software company needs to listen to what their customers want, and every software company needs to iterate and grow their product. The tech industry grows and changes at an incredible pace, and if you're not able to keep up, there's no way you're going to be able to survive. We expect to make an annual $25 million in revenue by year 5, if you start right now. And starting right now is an incredibly smart thing to do. Software is disrupting pretty much virtually every market out there, and people have finally embraced lean startup concepts. So they get why Anvil is so important. That $25 million projection I just showed you, that's if we start off by targeting web applications. But we have a huge opportunity for growth. Mobile apps, tablets, and even the gaming industry. All of these markets and industries can use Anvil solutions. So we have a huge areas to grow in the future. This awesome app needs an awesome team. Our developers are Ryan Eberhardt and Ethan Bian. They've competed in national hacking tournaments and were recently hired as consultants for the Chicago Sun-Times. They know what they're doing. My name is Arjun, and I'm the hustler at Anvil. I've created Lean Startup courses for high school students, so I thoroughly understand why iteration is so important. Our investor board consists of Josh Mendick, Tyler Spalding, and Cedric Hurst. Combined, they have over 60 years of experience in the software industry, and they have thousands of contacts that we can reach out to as possible Anvil clients. So what are we asking for today? We're asking for your vote of confidence in Anvil, and we're asking for beta testers. So this is for everyone, not just the judges. If any of you know any companies that could use Anvil, please reach out to us. We're beta testing the software this summer. We're ready for customers and we want to get off the ground. So I'd like to end by saying, a physical Anvil is the go-to tool for every blacksmith. We want to make our Anvil the go-to tool for every software company. Thank you.
Just a quick question. So, if I understand what you're doing, you're going after small startups and then moving on.
Yeah.
But how are you going to communicate your success beyond that?
So how else are we going to market?
Yeah, so let's just,
Right, okay, so, yeah, you remember that little button that I showed you when I was first demoing what our product does? The awesome thing is, when smaller startups start using it, that's instant marketing for us. As soon as we gain more traction and more companies start using this, that means more companies are going to start seeing us, and it acts almost like viral growth. So they see this feedback, they see this Anvil button, they're like, oh, gee, this is pretty cool, and they can check out Anvil right from there. So the more users we get, the more marketing we get done for us.
So first of all, comment, outstanding presentation. You're definitely an infectious personality and makes you want to invest in you. Question I guess I would have is a little bit more around the competition. Okay, who is your competition? How are you really different from some of the things that are out there in the competition side?
So yeah, our competition. Like I said, a lot of them focus on customer feedback or product development. For example, like Pivotal Tracker, you can organize the way you're going to build your product, but there's no real way you can contact customers or your customer can leave feedback on that tool. A pretty close competitor in terms of the customer feedback mechanism is things like User Voice and Get Satisfaction. They have developed an app that's kind of similar to the feedback forum, where users can comment on issue tickets and vote on ideas. But the huge way that we're different is our live prototyping ability. So there's no solution out there right now that allows you to just develop a very bare minimum feature and put it on and host it to a different site and allow customers to access that in a URL that's separate from your own domain. So if you're, say, slack.com, your customers could go to featurethread.slack.com, and then there, in that area, they will be able to see the simple feature you have. So even if there's bugs, you're not going to affect any customer base that doesn't want to use it.
So I hear you using words like software companies having a hard time keeping up and possibly not surviving without this experience. My question is, what about you? What do you think in terms of your team? What's the gap or what's the next challenge for you? Let's say you get our vote of confidence and you get your beta testers.
Right.
What's missing?
What's missing for us? So what's missing for us, I guess, our goal for this summer is to get, well, within the first few months, we want to get 5 beta testers, right? But I guess the biggest jump is going to be from using beta testers and, getting our site up and running to making sure we fix out all the bugs and all the, I guess, the bigger bugs, and making sure we can get some paying customers. Because I feel like in general, getting those first few people to, take the leap of faith and say, yeah, hands down, I will definitely pay money for this product. I think that's going to be the hardest part, especially since we're like a very new technology that people aren't used to. We focus a lot of time integrating with both the workflows of sales agents and developers, and we hope that that's enough for them to say, yeah, definitely, this is going to not get in the way, it's definitely going to help us.
So I think, first of all, I think you did a great job presenting. I think you've identified a compelling need and did a really good job articulating that. The thing and you clearly spent some time on design. It was a very compelling looking product. The thing that I'm struggling with is what your point of differentiation feels like sort of more of a feature to me than a full business. And so there's all these competitors out there. Most companies use something to collect feedback and iterate. And so of all those competitors out there, what stops them from effectively doing exactly what you're doing, and they already have a user base and just kind of rolling over your concept?
Just rolling over us. So there's a reason that no one has our live prototyping access tool. It's because it's pretty complicated to build. I couldn't really explain much of how you build it. These two obviously can. But yeah, I see it as more than just a feature, because sure, you can say user voice. Are you familiar with user voice? Okay, so user voice, they have like the feedback forum type of pages. Say they add something similar to live prototyping. The issue is they haven't built their entire company up to work on integrating both of these components. So sure, they can add a feature, but that's not going to be built into every way they use that company. And it's hard to be able to start from scratch and completely redesign the user experience. Especially if they have a user base, their users aren't going to want to have to relearn something they already use.
Integration is really key to our strategy, and we're already working with startups to identify how developers are working and how we can integrate with that workflow. User Voice is a very customer support targeted company, and so they provide a lot of tools that fit into the customer support workflow. But even if they were to add a live prototyping feature, it'd be very difficult to integrate into the developer's workflow. And so we integrate with those developer tools and those developer paradigms to make sure that it's an easy fit and it clicks with everyone on the company.
Let's give Anvil a big hand.